Have you ever felt like your hometown was slowly suffocating your dreams? Hey, it's Dee Dee from Ladies First, and today we're talking about Mystic Pizza and how it perfectly captures the emotional prison of small-town life that keeps us torn between comfort and ambition. Mystic Pizza takes us to the working-class coastal town of Mystic, Connecticut, where three young Portuguese-American women navigate love, class, and the terrifying question of whether they'll ever break free from the lives laid out for them. Daisy Araujo is bold and glamorous, spending her time with Charles, a wealthy prep school dropout. Her younger sister, Kat, is the responsible one, an aspiring astronomer juggling multiple jobs while preparing for Yale, who finds herself falling for Tim, the older married man whose daughter she babysits. And Jojo Barboza, their fiercely independent friend, is engaged to Bill, a man she loves but isn't ready to marry, caught between her desire for freedom and the pressure to settle down. What makes this 1988 film so compelling isn't just its authentic portrayal of small-town life, it's how it exposes the invisible barriers that keep us trapped in places that feel too small for our dreams. The pizza shop becomes more than just a workplace. It's a metaphor for the seductive comfort of staying put. These women know every customer, every routine, every expectation. There's safety in predictability, even when that predictability feels limiting. Daisy is trying to claw her way out of small-town expectations. She's not the academic star like her sister Kat, and she knows people don't expect much from her beyond a pretty face and a good time. When she meets Charles, the wealthy, Yale-educated boy from the other side of the tracks, he seems like a ticket out. But the truth is more complicated. Their relationship doesn't challenge the power dynamics of class so much as reveal how deeply embedded they are. Daisy tries to keep up, playing the role of the carefree, sexy, fun girl, but she quickly realizes Charles's world isn't built to accommodate someone like her. At a dinner with his family, casual racism and classism spill out between sips of wine, and when Charles overreacts and causes a scene, Daisy sees through it. She was never really his partner, she was his rebellion. Daisy doesn't just leave Charles. She calls out the performative nature of their relationship. He was using her to feel edgy, different, and the minute it got real, he didn't protect her, he embarrassed her. That realization stings more than the breakup. It confirms what she's always feared, that no matter how much she wants to escape Mystic, she'll always be seen as from the pizza shop. Kat faces a different version of this struggle. Kat, in contrast to Daisy, looks like she has it all figured out. She's the smart one, the one going to Yale, the one who never gets in trouble. But here's the twist. Kat's story is the most quietly devastating of the three. While Daisy is defiant and Jojo is spiraling, Kat is a balancing act. She's studying astrophysics while waitressing and babysitting for an upper-middle-class family, and in the middle of her hectic life, she falls for the wrong person, her employer, Tim. This relationship is complicated. Kat isn't naive. She's not some wide-eyed girl being misled. She's smart enough to know better, but human enough to want to feel seen. At home, she's the responsible daughter, the achiever, the reliable one. With Tim, she gets to be someone softer, desired, admired, and briefly the center of someone's world. When Tim's wife returns and the fantasy crumbles, Kat's heartbreak isn't just romantic, it's existential. She thought she could compartmentalize everything, love, ambition, class, but what she learns is that even the smartest girl in town can make a mistake, and that doesn't make her any less worthy of the future she wants. This is where the film gives us its most painful truth. Being intelligent, capable, and ambitious doesn't protect you from being underestimated or used, especially as a young woman trying to outgrow the town that raised her. What Mystic Pizza understands better than most coming-of-age films is that leaving isn't always about rejecting where you come from. Sometimes it's about discovering who you are without the roles others have assigned you. Jojo's storyline perfectly illustrates this internal conflict. From the outside, Jojo's problem looks simple. She faints at the altar and gets cold feet. Her boyfriend Bill is solid, loyal, a little macho, but deeply devoted to her. So why not just marry him? Because for Jojo, it's not about Bill. It's about who she becomes if she chooses a life that's already been scripted. Marriage in her world isn't just a ceremony. It's the beginning of disappearing. Becoming a wife means becoming someone else's idea of womanhood. Dependable, domestic, done. That's the part that terrifies her. Not commitment, but confinement. Jojo loves loves Bill, there's no question about that. But every time he asks her to settle down, it feels like a subtle erasure of the parts of her that still feel unformed, unfinished, the curious parts, the chaotic parts, the parts that don't want to stop growing just because they've reached some socially approved milestone. And what makes Jojo's identity crisis even more poignant is that nobody around her really gets it. Her friends tease her, Bill pressures her, even her own heart seems conflicted. But beneath the jokes and the physical comedy of a runaway bride is a woman in the middle of a quiet rebellion. She's not just resisting marriage, she's resisting the idea that a woman's life only has one track, and she's late to board it. This pressure is compounded by the world around her. The Portuguese-American community in Mystic is full of tradition, tight-knit, loyal, and deeply rooted. It provides a strong cultural foundation, but it also comes with unspoken rules about what a good daughter, wife, and woman should look like. Staying true to yourself within that kind of community doesn't always mean running away. It means learning how to speak up in a language that's not used to hearing women say, "I'm not ready." Jojo's story is a reminder that self-discovery doesn't always come from ambition or escape. It can come from standing still, looking around, and asking, is this really what I want? Or is this just what's expected of me? And the bravery isn't in saying no forever. It's in saying not yet and demanding the space to figure yourself out before folding into someone else's life plan. In the end, Jojo isn't afraid of love. She's afraid of losing herself inside it. And that's a question so many women still wrestle with. If I say yes to this life, what parts of myself do I have to silence? Each of the three women in Mystic Pizza reaches a moment where the illusion of control cracks and their real selves begin to emerge. For Kat, it all unravels when Nikki, Tim's wife, returns home. The fantasy she's been living, the idea that Tim sees her as something more than the babysitter, falls apart instantly. He doesn't defend her. He doesn't explain. He simply hands her a check and walks away, revealing the full power imbalance that was always there. But instead of folding under that shame, she gets back up. She tears up Tim's check, not just to reject his money, but to reclaim her dignity. When Leona offers her a loan instead, it's not just financial help, it's belief. It's a second chance from someone who sees her for who she really is, not who she was pretending to be. Daisy's breaking point comes when she realizes her relationship with Charles isn't romantic, it's symbolic. He's not dating her in spite of his upbringing. He's dating her because of it. Daisy sees through it. She refuses to be used as a prop in someone else's rebellion. And when she walks away from Charles, she's not just rejecting him, she's rejecting the idea that her worth is defined by how well she can perform in someone else's world. Her growth begins the moment she stops trying to escape Mystic and starts demanding respect on her own terms. Her eventual reconciliation with Charlie shows us that love across class lines is possible, but only when both people acknowledge the real barriers instead of pretending they don't exist. Their relationship works because they've both grown enough to see each other as equals, not as projects or escape. And then there's Jojo, whose entire arc is about running from the very thing she thinks she wants. She faints at the altar, insists on sex without strings, and clings to her autonomy like it's life or death. But Jojo's real breaking point isn't Bill or marriage or even tradition. It's fear. Fear that once she says, "I do," she'll stop being her full, complicated, evolving self. But she comes to see that love doesn't have to mean losing yourself. It can mean growing with someone who sees all the messy, unfinished parts of you. When she marries Bill at the end, it's not because she finally caved, it's because she finally felt ready. What makes this ending so powerful is that none of these women escape the townie trap by fleeing. They transform it by refusing to accept limitations as permanent. The pizza shop that once felt like a prison becomes their launching pad, not because they're leaving it behind, but because they've learned to see it as the beginning of their stories, not the end. The real townie trap was never about geography. It was about believing that where you start determines where you finish. These women proved that the most radical act isn't leaving your hometown, it's refusing to let your hometown shrink your dreams. So what's your take? Have you ever felt caught between staying safe and taking a leap? Let me know in the comments. And if you love exploring how classic female films capture our deepest struggles, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Ladies First.